right, so you want to talk about Aurora?
Let's dive in.
Yeah. Deep dive into the world of Aurora today. Clearly, you've got great taste in music.
Absolutely.
So we're going way beyond like the typical, this date, this happened kind of biography.
Right.
It's almost like, what are the secret ingredients in her artistic recipe?
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that the recipe seems to have its roots in a place you wouldn't necessarily associate with a global music star.
Right.
The remote Oz Mountains of Norway.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, reading about her early years, it sounds more like a fairy tale than like a celebrity origin story.
Right.
I mean, we've got your sources right here. We're looking at what looks like her Wikipedia page, but I get the feeling that, there's more to unearth here than just dates and places.
Absolutely. I mean, for example, Aurora herself has compared her childhood home to Narnia.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. Think about that for a second. Like bumpy roads, endless trees, practically no internet.
Right.
It's an environment that almost forces you to engage with your surroundings, with nature in a different way than you would, growing up in a city.
You're almost like forced to be creative, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense then that she found solace in classical music and the natural world. And these weren't just passive influences either.
Right.
At 6 years old, she's teaching herself piano by ear, recreating her favorite classical pieces. I can barely commit a grocery list to memory.
Yeah, I'm lucky if I can remember like one thing on there. It's incredible. Like she's got this innate musicality, this drive to connect with those emotions. And she doesn't stop at playing other people's music, right?
Yeah.
At 6, she's composing her own melodies. By 9, she's writing lyrics, first in Norwegian, then in English. It's really amazing. It's like those landscapes that she grew up in.
Yeah.
They just provided like fertile ground, not just for her imagination, but for her artistic voice.
Totally. And talk about a diverse palette, right? I mean, she's mentioned being drawn to everyone from Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan to Enya, even the Chemical Brothers and melodic metal. And you can almost hear echoes of those influences in her later work, that blend of vulnerability, storytelling, and atmospheric soundscapes.
Yeah, it's true. There's definitely like a darkness that kind of peeks through in some of her music, and I feel like that's got to be from that range of influences.
Yeah, it's like she absorbed those diverse sounds and then kind of filtered them through the lens of her own unique experiences. And let's not forget, she's writing songs like Runaway and I Went Too Far during these like really formative years.
Right.
These aren't just childhood scribbles. These are songs that would later like resonate with millions of people.
It's true. Okay, so we've got this image of a young Aurora, right? Surrounded by nature, immersed in music, already writing these songs that kind of hint at her future success.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I still can't quite wrap my head around this. She never actually planned on being a musician.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, considering a career in molecular biology or physics with that kind of talent, like, brewing inside of you?
Yeah, it's really wild, and it's a good reminder that life often has other plans for us, right? Speaking of which, her path to fame is like a case study in serendipity. It all seems to stem from this seemingly insignificant event, a school performance of her song "I Had a Dream."
Which, by some stroke of luck, right, someone just happens to record it.
Exactly.
And then they decide, you know what, I'm gonna share this online. I bet whoever uploaded that had no idea that they were like setting a future star on her trajectory. Because that's when things really start to snowball, right?
Yeah.
The recording gets picked up by a national chart, and before you know it, an artist manager comes knocking.
It's wild. And to her credit, she didn't just jump at the first opportunity that came her way. Imagine being like a teenager still in school and suddenly faced with navigating the music industry.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right. I mean, she was hesitant at first, even considering being a songwriter for other artists before deciding to take center stage herself.
Right, like make it her own. Talk about a high pressure decision.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
But that self-awareness, even at that age, is incredible. So here she is. She's juggling school. She's juggling, the demands of this budding music career. Something had to give. And eventually she makes this really bold choice to put her all into music, even if it means leaving school behind.
A gamble, for sure, but but one that starts paying off like pretty quickly. Her early releases like Awakening gain traction, start getting airplay, and the press starts taking notice. And then comes her 2014 performance at Bylarm. It's a pivotal moment that really puts her on the international radar.
And then, yeah, things just go into overdrive. Multiple labels are vying for her. She adopts the stage name Aurora,
Right.
and her debut EP, Running with the Wolves, explodes onto the scene.
Just huge.
It's like the world was finally ready to hear that voice.
Yeah.
You know, that unique perspective she'd been nurturing for years.
And it wasn't just about the voice. That EP, along with singles like Runaway and Murder Song, 54321, showcased this raw talent, combined with a depth of emotion that really resonated with listeners.
Right.
And then, boom, mainstream recognition arrives with her cover of Oasis's Half the World Away for that Christmas ad. I mean, everyone knew her voice then.
Oh, yeah. It's like it was everywhere. It became like the soundtrack to the holiday season.
Totally.
By the time her debut album, All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend, drops in 2016, she's a global sensation.
Yep.
Major talk show appearances, a world tour. It's a whirlwind of success.
But here's the thing. Aurora is more than just, this captivating voice or this chart-topping artist.
Right.
She's a storyteller. She's a lyricist who isn't afraid to delve into like the complexities of human experience.
And that's where things get really interesting. It's not just, surface level stuff either. Her music, it's like peering into a diary.
Totally. Filled with reflections on love and loss and everything in between.
Yeah.
And she doesn't shy away from tackling like the bigger issues either.
No, not at all. And it's that blend, it's
Yeah.
like vulnerability, but also social commentary. And it's a rare combination.
Absolutely.
Queendom comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
That song is an anthem.
It really is.
For inclusivity, for being who you are.
And she doesn't just like talk the talk. You know, the lyrics, the imagery in the music video, it's all about like tearing down walls and celebrating the beauty of individuality.
100%, yeah. Speaking of celebrating individuality, have we talked about these collaborations?
Yeah.
Because Aurora working with the Chemical Brothers, that's legendary.
It really speaks to her range, doesn't it? You've got these electronic music pioneers on one hand, and then this artist who draws inspiration from Norwegian folk and nature.
Right.
And somehow it just works.
It really does. It's like they like bring out a whole new dimension in each other's sound,
Totally.
And then there's Frozen 2. Talk about a match made in, Arendelle.
Right. Into the Unknown is such a powerful song.
Oh my God.
And her voice just brought this like ethereal, otherworldly quality to it. And the fact that it was nominated for an Oscar. Come on.
It's incredible. So you've got the Oscars, you've got this Disney soundtrack, you've got, she's collaborating with these musical giants, but she's also like forging her own unique path. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Totally.
And then just when you think you have her pegged,
right,
she shifts gears again with Infections of a Different Kind. Step 1.
That album felt like a turning point.
Oh, yeah.
It was like she was like stretching her creative wings,
Totally.
incorporating more electronic and experimental elements while still staying true to that signature sound.
Lyrically, too, it felt more outward looking, I felt like.
Yeah.
She's been vocal about how like meeting fans from all walks of life on her first tour, how much that impacted her.
Right.
And it's like those encounters like infused her songwriting with these new perspectives, these new stories.
Exactly. And you can hear that evolution in a different kind of human step too as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's an album that grapples with these big questions about identity, humanity's place in the world, the search for meaning in the chaos.
Right. And sonically it's massive.
Yes.
Like the textures, the experimentation. It's like she created a whole universe of sound.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's really no surprise that her music continues to resonate with so many people because she's asking the tough questions.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those questions, they continue to evolve with each album. The Gods We Can Touch felt like this deep dive into mythology and the human condition, exploring the duality of our existence.
And musically, it's her most ambitious work yet. It's grand.
Yeah.
It's cinematic. It's like she's composing soundtracks for the soul. Seriously.
Yes.
And then she takes this U-turn right, with what happened to the heart,
Totally.
and delivers this incredibly intimate and introspective album.
It's almost like she's inviting us to just like sit with her and ponder the mysteries of the heart. There's a rawness and honesty in her lyrics on that album that is incredibly powerful.
Totally.
And once again, she's pushing boundaries musically, you know, experimenting with new textures, new soundscapes.
Always evolving, which is, you got to respect that. And that's what makes it so relatable, right? Like, it's that willingness to be vulnerable, to kind of open up her own heart and ask those big questions.
100%.
She's not just singing, she's sharing a piece of her journey. And in doing so, she's creating space for us to kind of reflect on our own.
Absolutely. It's like she's saying, hey, it's okay to feel these things, to question things, to embrace the unknown. And that message, it's woven into every aspect of her artistry, from her lyrics to her collaborations to her ever-evolving sound.
Yeah, and it's funny to think that this is the same artist who once like thought about a career in science.
Yeah.
Talking about a different kind of exploration, right?
Totally different.
But maybe there's a connection there.
Okay.
That same curiosity, that same desire to understand the world around us, just expressed through a different lens.
Yeah, perhaps there's an underlying thread that kind of connects all of her creative choices, you know?
Yeah.
Like a desire to find meaning and connection in a world that can often feel chaotic and isolating.
Right.
And she does that by tapping into something universal, something deeply human.
For sure. It's been quite a journey, tracing Aurora's career arc.
Yeah.
You know, from those quiet beginnings in the Norwegian mountains to her current status as like a global music icon. And to think, you know, we only scratched the surface of her incredible discography. But if there's one thing that we've learned today, it's that her story it's far from over.
Oh, absolutely.
And what excites me is wondering where she'll go next.
Right.
What new sonic landscapes will she explore? What stories will she choose to tell?
It's that constant evolution, that refusal to be confined by genre or expectation that makes her such a captivating artist to follow.
For sure.
And it makes you wonder, you know, what can we learn from her journey? Perhaps it's a reminder that those seemingly ordinary moments in our own lives, those experiences that shape who we are, they might hold the seeds of something extraordinary.
Yeah.
Something worth sharing with the world.
You know, it makes you think, right? Like maybe we all have an aurora within us, just waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe exploring her music will inspire you to tap into your own creative spark.
I love that.
Whatever form that may take.
Yeah.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the music playing.